Talk to the hand.
Oh, what's in the box?
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. But
All right. Do we want to dive into our classic review next?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So we're going to be talking about Bad Taste this week, which released in 1987, and it was Peter Jackson's first feature-length film. Now, Brian and I have talked about our love for the Lord of the Rings movies, and so that was initially what got me into this. I'm just going to read the description really quick, and then we'll get into it, because I doubt that a lot of people have seen this.
Yeah.
So Bad Taste tells the story of a group of 4 young men. They're attempting to stop an alien invasion, and essentially it's a low budget movie, just riddled with low budget gore effects, splatter effects, and costumes that were all made by Peter Jackson himself, which I thought was pretty interesting. But anyways, did you watch it recently?
Yeah, I did. I popped in the DVD and I watched, I would say, most of it. Like, I actually didn't get a chance to have the time to watch all of it all the way through, but I saw pretty much all of it.
I think it's been a long time since I've watched it, but I think it's a movie you don't have to see all of it to get the gist of it.
No. Yeah, you definitely don't.
So this is the reason that I even heard of this movie or looked into this movie was just one of those random moments where I was trying to wrap my head around. I was like, how did Peter Jackson land the Lord of the Rings movies? I was like, what did he do before that? Because I've never heard of any of his other movies, and I don't know how he landed the Lord of the Rings movies, because he has 6 movies that released before that, and all 6 of them are very, very bizarre, with Bad Taste probably being the most bizarre. I don't know. Have you seen any of his other ones? I can't think of all the names.
I have seen bits and pieces of The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox that he did.
That was the one right before Fellowship, right?
Yeah, it was. Then he went on to do Lord of the Rings. Then he did, whatever. He did a couple movies. He did King Kong and Lovely Bones. Then the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah.
What other movies did he do before Frighteners? In between Bad Taste.
I can't think of the name. Hold on, I'll pull it up in just a sec. I can't think of the name, but the only other one that I really remember was that cracked out version of the Muppets that I was telling you about.
Oh yeah.
It was so weird, and I don't remember how. I guess I just kind of watched some clips from that. Meet the Feebles. And yeah, it was a super, super weird movie. It was just like a hard R version of the Muppets with
I mean, the Muppets are already kind of weird, so
these characters were using drugs. We all know that the Muppets are on drugs. These characters are using drugs. But so anyways, the movie itself, Bad Taste. What did you think?
Initial thoughts, the plot itself is very bizarre, but hats off to Peter Jackson for going at it with the practical effects and just doing it himself. I mean, kudos to him, but overall the movie's very, very campy.
Yep, that's mainly what I have to say also. The movie itself, it's okay. It's very campy. I don't know why every now and then I'll get into a phase where I just start watching a bunch of campy movies. And so this is a great one for that, for anybody that enjoys that. But yeah, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is those effects. We talked about a lot in the last episode how I feel about practical effects and how much of a big difference they are versus anything else. And I think it's very cool that not only did he use those, but he designed all of these costumes. There's a lot of video of him designing the costumes and actually putting them together and all of the effects.
Yeah, and that's really cool. That's that's really truly the first step to him being the auteur that he is as a director, writer, producer, things that he is. Yeah, definitely really, really cool that he did that. So you're saying you saw some behind the scenes sort of things? I didn't get to catch that.
Yeah, I think it was just on YouTube. I just saw I think it might have just been a review of Bad Taste that had some additional footage or something. I can't remember. But yeah, it was just him putting together the costumes and kind of showing off some of the little contraptions he made for the effects. And also what I think is kind of cool about that is it makes me feel like maybe that's why practical effects were really important to him when he did the original Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
And I can't remember how old he was, but I think he was pretty young when he did that too.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So 1987, so speaking of him being young, while you check that, did you know which character he was as soon as you started watching? I actually didn't.
No.
I actually thought he was somebody else until I looked it up. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure,
Right.
but I didn't know that he plays the character of Derek, who's really, really weird in the film.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either because he looks, well, mainly because of like his facial hair now and everything else.
Right,
And
right.
I'm so used to seeing him with glasses too. So it was weird to see that. Okay, sorry, I just found it, so I got distracted. He was born in 61, so he was 26, 25 or 26,
Okay, so
which I thought he was younger, but I mean that's still like, I mean that's our age, so I can't imagine putting together
giving hope to all of us 26-year-olds out there. It's just I was thinking he was younger too, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, 26-year-old that just put this whole movie together. Kudos. And did you know it played at Cannes? I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, got run at Cannes.
I didn't think that it got a whole lot of exposure until some of his other projects. Well, I guess
that's exactly it.
But see, then I wonder, like, how did he even land Meet the Feebles? Because Meet the Feebles was like has a higher budget than Bad Taste. It's cool. It's very cool to see
I feel like when
to
you
see somebody come from that to get where they were.
When you watched it, it is because when you watch Bad Taste, do you think to yourself like, yeah, this is the type of thing, like if you're a a movie executive or whatever, like if you watch Bad Taste, are you really thinking to yourself like, this he's a genius, this guy? I think that with him making all the effects and everything and being just the like doing like everything, I think that really helped him because I think the plot itself isn't something super special. Yeah. I mean, it's really like it's such a splatter film, man. It's really gross. There's a ton of blood and gore and yeah.
I can't imagine, like you just said, like being like a movie executive and being like, yes, I trust this man with over $100 million to make this movie.
Right.
But yeah.
So what was your favorite? What's your favorite use of the effects in the movie?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've watched this. I watched this when I was like, I don't know. It's probably been like 5 years or so. But one of the aliens gets their heads like crushed pretty brutally at one point, right?
Yeah.
That's what I remember. Like that's really one of the only things I can picture. I just remember it being, like you said, like very gory.
Yeah, it is. It's really gross. So if you're not into the whole like splatter thing, if you're not good with blood or whatever, you probably wouldn't enjoy this film. For me, there's the scene where the character of Derek, who was played by Peter Jackson, so he falls off a cliff, right, after fighting one of the aliens. Actually, after he gets done torturing this alien by repeatedly hammering a nail into his foot, which they show blood, but that's really all you see.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gets thrown off the cliff, right? He lands on like a nest of seagulls, which he just crushes. I'm pretty sure we see like splattered seagull guts, whatever. And then he cracks the back of his head open and his brains spill out. I mean, it's a close-up of his brains spilled out of like the back of his head.
Yeah.
And he literally just picks up his brains and he just puts his head back together. And I about wanted to vomit, but the effects are really cool. I mean, like the brains are really well done, and he did a really good job of making it look like not like you don't, it's not realistic like you think it's actually obviously brains or whatever, but no, it looked good for as campy as it was and stuff. And that for me, that scene, it's pretty early, but that scene really stuck out to me as being I was like, wow, that's brutal.
And it's kind of crazy, it's his character too, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Peter Jackson's character. I thought it was very interesting that he seems to play the most off the wall character. Like, I don't know if whenever he was making it, if he wrote this character for himself or if he just wrote it and then played it, because I think as somebody who would like to start writing scripts myself, I would think like, I could maybe write myself in a minor role, whatever, but I don't know that I would write myself as being weird as character as he decided he wanted to make himself in it. But they're all pretty weird. I guess anyway, I like that they're what they're called, the boys. I think they're like at the beginning of the film, the president's looking over all of his different people he can call in to help the aliens, and then he gets to the boys, and it's just these 4 guys or whatever, these 4 New Zealanders. Because he shoots it obviously in New Zealand. That's where Peter Jackson's from. Yeah, shot there, and I don't know if he shot in the town he's from, or I didn't look into that.
I'm not sure.
But definitely, so shot in his home country.
Definitely very interesting. Definitely worth checking out for anybody that's a Peter Jackson fan, anybody that's a fan of campy movies, or anybody that's a fan of movies that are 30 years old. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's all I had for Bad Taste. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, pretty much. I hit on everything. Last note, it did get theatrically released in 2000. So once,
wow, that's
it's funny
really weird.
Yeah, they decided that it was worth releasing in theaters that year, and they did market it as like the man that brought you Lord of the Rings. So they did.
Oh wow, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, Bad Taste. Check it out, like you said.
Definitely check it out. You know what? You almost have to buy it at this point. It's kind of difficult to find.
Yeah, I bet. I do have a copy of the DVD, so if you listen to it, you really want it.
Brian just said he'll be putting that on eBay starting at $999.
Yeah.